We have another level. I think we have another 2 levels that we can get to. It's a collaboration always. So we can show the strategic stuff on the tape. Walk through and show them, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Let's learn personnel. We got to know the shooters, know the non-shooters, all that stuff. So that's where we can help them. Where they can help themselves is just effort and energy, play after play after play.
Steve Kerr, head coach of the men's Olympic basketball team, which gets started on Sunday against Serbia. Yes, they were 5-0 in the exhibition run, but a couple of real close calls there, including one against South Sudan that opened up a lot of people's eyes. I was reading more about the South Sudan team. Their head coach is Royale Ivy, played in the United States, played in the NBA for a while. He told a story when they qualified for the Olympics. He was just overcome as how far they'd come in such a short amount of time. We talked about it earlier. It's the youngest nation in the world in terms of their independence. He said 1 year ago, before they qualified for the Olympics, South Sudan was having practices on outdoor courts.
Unbelievable.
With flooding on them. And he talked about the eagles flying overhead as they were practicing basketball, and here they are in the Olympics.
That's fantastic.
And in a group with the United States, with a chance to kind of rematch against them to see if they can duplicate what they did.
You just lit my Olympic flame.
Boom, 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 boom. I don't know if you. I think you saw the photo of Kevin Durant getting his Olympic flame lit. So Kevin Durant was on the practice court yesterday, participated in the full scrimmage. We've heard nothing in terms of, hey, this didn't go well. So I guess we're going to see Kevin Durant play some Olympic basketball. But there was one photo from Garrett Elwood from the practice session, and it's Anthony Edwards posterizing Kevin Durant. Bleacher Report put it out, this photo of Ant dunking over KD in team practice in all capital letters with the fire emoji. Kevin Durant quote tweeted it and said, "I tried, Jennifer."
Listen, as a listener of our show, I'm going to stick up for KD, our guy KD here, because this is one of my biggest pet peeves in basketball. You talk about how ridiculous basketball critics can be and how nitpicky they can be, right? We had this discussion just recently.
Yes.
How at the top, the cattiness, it's unlike anything you'll see in any other sport. Okay. Anthony Edwards dunking on Kevin Durant, all of a sudden, these moments are perceived as Anthony Edwards just emasculated Kevin Durant. In every situation, in almost every poster, you should give credit to the guy getting dunked on because he's the only one in the vicinity playing defense.
Yes, or attempting to play defense.
I've never understood this. You're making fun and mocking a player for attempting to get in somebody's way, for attempting to be an obstacle to a otherwise uncontested slam dunk. That shouldn't be mocked. That should be cheered.
But people will always applaud the player who makes the quote-unquote business decision.
Yeah.
Don't want to show up on that viral image.
Yeah, you know what? Smart move, ducking out of that play.
I've always felt that way.
I've never understood
it. We are in total agreement there.
I've never understood it. The guys who contest dudes at the rim, especially when they know that dude is coming downhill, they should have everyone's respect.
Yes. Although, I also did see a profile of Frederick Weiss, who is known as the guy who tried to get in the way of a Vince Carter dunk in the Olympics in 2000 and got jumped over. It's one of the most famous dunks, if not the most famous dunk ever. But this profile of Frederick Weiss talked about, and he doesn't necessarily tie his downfall directly to that moment, but his life reached some real depths.
Just for being jumped over.
That was part of it. There was other things in play, but because he had a long career playing overseas, but that's what he's known for. And now he's back in basketball as a broadcaster in France.
Yeah.
But he That moment was tied to a lot of
Anthony
it.
Edwards, his epic dunk at Footprint Center against the Suns during the playoffs. People use that moment to mock Matt Ishbia. Like, oh, you paid all that money for a team. At least you had real good seats to see that. It's fascinating. The NBA and the what's the word we're looking for? Just the dialogue and the criteria and the way you judge people on a basketball court. It's phenomenal. It is bizarre.
Bizarre is the word.
It's and it was literally at the root of my anger for DeAndre Ayton, who never understood the power of a dunk.
But if you go and read some of the responses to Kevin Durant's, and it was a funny post by him. But if you read some of this, it's a perfect example of what you're talking about, the bizarre nature of all of this. Because, again, two rivals who have mutual respect, although Anthony Edwards talks about having respect for Kevin Durant and then disrespects him at every turn possible.
But in his mind, that's showing respect to him.
Yes. But the way the fans react is, and they're choosing sides. These guys are teammates attempting to accomplish the same thing.
Yeah, right.
That's what makes this so weird.
Yeah, exactly. And it's part of the culture of watching basketball. What makes somebody flex over somebody at the very top? Winning, that's number one. But dunking on somebody's head, it's so disproportionately celebrated, and yet it is such an alpha display that it is meaningful.
Yeah.
Dunks change basketball games.
One of the most famous dunks in Suns history was Kevin Johnson dunking on the baseline in a playoff game over Hakeem Olajuwon. Nobody remembers, or a lot of people don't remember the Suns lost that game.
Wow.
They lost that series.
Wow. You're right.
In painful fashion.
You're right. And the Suns have another one, Tom Chambers.
Yes.
And that's that leaping dunk when he sort of used another defensive player as a little bit of a trampoline and got incredible elevation that when you watch it, you're like, wow, that's
still the most jaw-dropping dunk I've ever seen.
It's insane.
And that one deserves it. While it was happening, Mark Jackson, in a defenseless position, said, "Mama, there goes that man." I saw a list. I want to get your feedback on this list. If I told you there's a ranking of the top 25 players in the men's basketball tournament in the Olympics, and the top American player comes in at number 4, who would you think that player is?
Number 4 from this current Olympic team. Wow, that's a great question.
Because the top 3, they've got Jokic 1, Giannis 2, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 3. And, I mean...
Steph Curry. I would say Steph Curry would certainly be in that team picture. Anthony Davis would be in that team picture.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards might be in that team picture.
This particular list had Joel Embiid.
Oh, come on.
At number 4, in a ranking, again, of all the rosters. So Embiid 4, then there's a run of American players. Anthony Davis 5, Jason Tatum 6, LeBron James 7, Devin Booker 8, Kevin Durant 9, then Tyrese Halliburton. And this is not talking about their roles on their respective Olympic teams.
Just best
where
players.
They are. Yeah. Steph Curry 11, Wemby 12, Rudy Gobert 13, Anthony Edwards 14.
Rudy Gobert ahead of Anthony Edwards.
Yes.
Okay, that's...
How about Devin Booker ahead of Kevin Durant?
Many absurdities.
Which I don't necessarily disagree with, but I think most people would have those flip-flopped.
Yeah, but if you were starting a team today, you would clearly take Devin Booker for the age and the upside. That's wild. Who put that list together?
It's on For the Win at USA Today.
All right, that's... Yeah, I don't know.
Top 3 players, not American players, which is not a surprise when you look at the MVP voting from recent years.
Right. And listen, with all due respect to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's a very, 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 very good young player, you got him that high?
Over some of those players that have done it longer than him?
It's hard to do.
I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere, and I don't think we're seeing a flash in the pan, but yeah, out of respect, maybe a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. We shall see. Olympics, the Torch gets lit today in Paris.
So will a lot of Parisians. Yeah, like you said earlier.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.